Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Angels in Action. And here we are on a Monday again. Sorry we're a bit late. Technical issues as always, but we do our best to overcome them, don't we? And hey, we get here eventually. So I'm just going to pop onto Facebook, check that we have gone live and see what's occurring. In the meantime, hope you're all well. Hope everybody is loving this winter weather here in the UK and wherever you are in the world. So it's saying I'm live here, but I'm not entirely sure that I have gone live. So we will see, because if I'm not, then you won't be seeing me or the lovely Larkin when she arrives. There we go. Always a bit of a delay, isn't there? Fabulous. So and we'll do the usual shares and so on. Anyway, just wait for a few people to pop in. Hopefully Larkin will join us very shortly. She's been dealing with her animals, I believe, as she always does on a Monday and Tuesday and every day up until the Monday again. She rescues her horses and so on, and they keep her very, very busy. And this time of year, I don't know what the weather's like where she is, but I'm sure it's probably just as cold as it is here. I'm just going to share into a couple of groups. Hi Robin, welcome. Thanks for popping in. Lovely to see you. We're just waiting for Larkin to arrive, but I'm sure she'll be here shortly. And Angels in Action, as you know, we stream live on Facebook into our various pages and groups, but we're also live on YouTube. So pop along to YouTube, find us, like and subscribe, and you can then watch all the replays of our videos and the lovely conversations that we have. Part of Angels in Action isn't just about sharing with you about angels and how they work. It's also about connecting to your spirit guides, spiritual topics, and so on. And we just love to we end up at some point getting an amazing flow of questions from all our lovely viewers. And yeah, we love to just have a general chat around them as well. So you may notice that I'm a little bit different at the moment because I'm not on a computer, I'm actually on my iPad, so I'm hoping it's working just as well. So, but I've noticed that with this I'm getting a lovely view behind me of my living room. So yeah, just a nice homely, cozy feeling. And that's what we want. We want you to feel like you're just with us in our homes, you know, connecting, having a chat, and just generally getting to know each other. We have had some wonderful stormy weather here in the UK this past couple of days, so the internet's been a little bit iffy. Oh, did you? Oh, that's fabulous, Robin. Oh, I'm so glad you had a wonderful time with her. She's amazing, isn't she? And meeting your spirit guide, was it the first time you met your spirit guide, or have you worked with others before? It is a wonderful feeling connecting with your spirit guides and just receiving those loving messages and information that they want to bring you and support you. Oh, fantastic. So, and was your spirit guide somebody you recognized, or was it somebody that you just got to know for the first time? I did I'm doing a training in quantum healing therapy, and I had, as a part of our practice, we do swaps, and I did a session with one of my mentors, and it was amazing. And for the very first time during that, I met my granddad. Now, my granddad passed to spirit when I was 3, and in all my meditations, all the work that I've done developing my intuition, etc., my granddad has never been one of the guides or members. I'm tripping over my tongue today. members of family and spirit that I've ever connected with, and it was so nice to have that connection. And with a so I'm just seeing if Larkin's message to say whether she's in. So, hi Anne, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming back in. That's so nice. Sorry, Larkin's just messaging to say she'll be joining us very shortly. And I'll just let her know. This is how conversations go, isn't it? You know, when you're just sat generally chatting and little things pop up. And yes, and this is how we want it to be. We don't want to sort of stand on ceremony and just be chatting or talking to you. So I met Grandad, and that was lovely. So she presented as a crone. I think she's my great grandmother. Oh, lovely. So when you get that feeling, and that's who you think or feel it is, I always say trust that intuitive feeling, that intuitive knowing. It's something that you will recognize within your own energy vibration that feels right. And when that feels right, then, you know, that's fantastic. And now when you meditate again, you can go into that feeling with the intention of connecting with her and just seeing if it's the same energy, the same vibration that comes forward, and just reconnecting. And the more you practice that, and the more you practice with that intention, the stronger that feeling will become, and the more you will recognize it. And yeah, just have fun, just have conversations, and see where it leads you. Hi Anne, so happy birthday for your mum in spirit. She will be with you, as you know, Anne, when we've talked about this previously in our other calls. Mum is always around you, and I can understand. Oh, excellent, Robin. I can understand how emotional it can be when it's a birthday and everything. So, but just have that thought of wishing her happy birthday, thinking about the good memories, the wonderful times that you're doing. I'm not sure if we're doing readings today because both Larkin and I have other commitments, and we can only be on here for, well, when we originally started doing Angels in Action, the plan was always to just be on for an hour. And of course, we love to just talk and share and do the readings. So we've often drifted over the hour, sometimes into two. But both of us, I'm afraid, have commitments this evening, and we will be getting off very soon. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping that Larkin will be joining me very shortly. So yeah, meditation is lovely, isn't it? And just finding the way that works for you as well. There's so many different ways to meditate. And when you sit quietly in that vibrational energy, and this for you as well, Anne, you can set the intention to make that connection with your loved ones in spirit. And as we've said before, they may not come to you and you may not see them visually. You may just get a sense or a knowing. You may get a thought that pops into your head that reminds you of them. And this is their way of connecting with you, of showing you that they're around. So if we get round to readings, Anne, we will certainly see if we can make a connection with Mum for you. Hi Mel, lovely to see you. Thank you for popping in. It's great. Have you been before, or is this your first time visiting at Angels in Action? You're welcome, Anne. I'm just going to, while we're waiting for Larkin, I'm just going to pull a card for today for a message as a whole for all of us and see where that comes in. Let's see what they say for us. Hi Maria, lovely to see you. So the card that's come out from the Tarot of Pooh is the Hierophant, and it says, what does crusty money proceed cake mean, said Pooh. For I am a bear of very little brain, and long words bother me. And the words on the card are institutions, tradition, society, and its rules. No, you didn't, Maria. I've not been on long, and we're just waiting for Larkin to arrive. But I'm just sharing that we both have commitments this evening. Well, for me this evening, for Larkin today. So we'll only be on for around an hour. For me, the message that this card is bringing through is that we need to start thinking outside of the box. You know, with institutions and with tradition, we tend to stay within that practice when something's been done traditionally for years and years and years. And this is one of the things with spirit work. There are certain traditions out there, there are certain practices out there that keep us within this certain box, if you like, of the ways of doing things. And Larkin and I are very much about changing that, removing the myths around and breaking some of those myths around certain practices as well. So, you know, anybody and everybody has that intuitive knowing, that intuitive ability to connect. If you can hear a gentle snoring, it's not me. It's my lovely little dog. She's snuggled up behind me, and when she gets comfy, she starts to snore. So it's about breaking those little myths and traditions, if you like, and finding the ways that work for you. So we can talk about all sorts of different things, and then you may go away and hear about that from somebody else, and they may tell you to do it differently, or tell you that, you know, certain ways are wrong. Ways to connect with spirit, ways to connect with your loved ones without having to use somebody like myself or Larkin or anybody else who does readings. We can all do this. We all have this ability. It's about practice. It's about being consistent. So if you want to, so Anne, for you, if you want to connect with your mum, you know, spend a certain time each day just sitting, and just sit with a notebook and pen or pencil, you know, and just sit with that, and then just write a letter to her or talk to her as if she was there with you. And then any thoughts that pop into your head, just write them down. And the more you do this, the more consistent it becomes. The more it's a bit like making an appointment. You know, you make an appointment to go to see the doctor, the dentist, or whoever, and you go at a certain time, and then it may be that you have to go for so many sessions, so you make the same appointment every week and go at the same time. It's the same with setting your intention to connect to spirit. You do so with the intention, and they get to know that you've set that appointment, that time with them, that you've set that intention to make that time for them, and then they come as well and join you at that time. So find a time in the day that suits you. Now it can be in the morning, during the day, or the evening. Sometimes first thing in the morning is perhaps the best time to start to make a connection, because it's the quieter time. You maybe have a sort of, you're more awake as well, if you like. So you're more, and you've had a good sleep, hopefully the night before, so you're rested as well, and you can just sit quietly for a few minutes. And it doesn't have to be for very long. It can be 5 or 10 minutes every day until you get used to doing it, and then you can make it a regular daily practice. If you find mornings aren't the right time for you, then find which time is. I had a mentor many years ago when I went to the spiritualist churches, and he sat at 9 p.m. every night in his favourite chair in his room with his candles and a little bit of light music playing in the background, and that's when he sat to connect with spirit. And some evenings he would have perhaps a conversation with somebody in spirit that came through. Some evenings nothing, he just sat and had a quiet time, you know, because it's like you make a phone call, you think of somebody, you ring them, and they don't answer. So you ring them back the next day, and this time they answer. So you have a lovely chat. It's the same with spirit. Sometimes they come and they connect, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's because they maybe don't always have something that they want to share, or the vibrational energy is not balanced out right. There can be a whole variety of reasons why that connection isn't made. but it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just the way it is. You know, spirit don't always come through and connect with us, especially if they don't feel that they've got anything to share. So meditation, making a commitment to do it at the same time every day, sitting with that intention, and then just being open to receiving and knowing that you've set the intention to connect with that person and they will be the ones that come through, and not hold any fear or worry that you're going to connect with the wrong energy. Hi Donna, lovely to see you, Angel. Thanks for popping in. Yes, I say I believe they are. We are a soul and spirit in a human body. When we transition over to the world of spirit, it's the energy of our spirit that returns. It's our soul that goes there as well. Some people will tell you that soul and spirit are one and the same. Others will say that they're not. It's all about what you believe at the end of the day. I personally believe our spirit is our energy vibration. It's the energy it's the quantum energy that we can't see or feel. Well, we feel the vibration, but we can't see it. And our soul is the essence of who we are and what we bring into our spirit. It's a lot more, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's what I feel and believe. So I believe that when we return to spirit, it's our energy, our essence that goes back into that energy field. And when we return there, we can become guides. And the reason I believe this is that because when my husband transitioned to spirit 30 years ago this year, and probably a few years, I can't even think how many years now, but a few years after he transitioned, I saw him a couple of times in meditations. I made connections with him, but I never really thought of it of anything more than that. But then the more that I practiced, the more that I found a way of working with spirit, or my way of working with spirit. I then started to share and mentor and teach others. And some of my, I don't want to call them students because they were more friends than students, but some of those beautiful souls that I shared and helped to mentor, they picked up on an energy and they would describe Bob and that. And it was then that I realized that actually he was a spirit guide for me. Hi Samantha, welcome from Arizona. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. So I became aware that he had become a spirit guide for me. So some say your guides are not the same as your spirits. Again, Donna, this comes down to individual beliefs, and I would have to ask the question, what is it that they're saying is not the same? Because when we transition back to the world of spirit, it is our energy as spirit that goes back to that place, wherever that may be, whatever you may believe in. So spirit, so for example, let's just say if I transition to the world of spirit, from my experience and the conversations that I've had with spirit and my experiences that I've received, when I go back to the world of spirit, I return to being the energy and essence of love. We are born with love. We go back to that. That is my initial feeling, understanding of what happens to us when we transition back to spirit. When we are there, we can then make choices, the same as we have here in the human form. We can have free will and choice. And it's my understanding that we can choose to just stay in the world of spirit and just be there and live in that lovely energy and just be. Or we can make a choice to come back and guide others in the human world. And as I was explaining, that's what my husband did. He made a choice to be a guide for me. And when I teach, and when I'm teaching people to read cards or to connect with spirit, when they make connections, that they will pick up on his energy. He will come in, he'll share things, and I know that he's guiding them to understand how to work with spirit. So for me, I feel that yes, it's ultimately about we as a spirit being, when we're over there, wherever there may be, how we choose to stay, and how either to stay as we are, or to come back, or to make our presence felt and help others. I mean, of course, you know, we get a lot of spirit guides that are Native American Indians who come through. There are Chinese healers. You know, we can have all sorts of spirit guides come through. I believe that our spirit guides can be somebody that we would have had as a teacher. Sorry, I'm just going to have to. So, where was I? Okay, Donna, that's excellent. I'm glad that makes sense for you. So has anybody else got any other questions that they'd like to ask me? Because I'm not sure if Larkin's going to appear now. She said she was on her way. So hopefully she will, unless she's having internet problems as well. Hi, Chrissy. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. How are you today? No, I'm still here for a minute, Maria. We've got about another half an hour, but I don't know. I'm hoping Larkin's going to join us at some point. She keeps trying. Ah, thanks, Chrissy. So we were just talking about spirit and spirit guides and how they work for us. So has anybody else had any experiences around that subject that they'd like to share? So I don't want to be all me talking. See, and one of the things that when we say we don't hear, then we're already putting obstacles in the way. We talk about this regularly on our Monday night sessions. And one of the things you need to do is to reframe your mindset. It's to really think about how you're saying things and what almost negative energy that you're putting out there. So when you're sat, as I was saying earlier, you know, when you sit with the intention to make that connection, just be open. It may be that you won't actually hear a physical voice. It may just be a thought in your head. It might be that you hear something on the radio that reminds you of your mum. These are all the different ways that you can experience connecting to your loved ones in spirit. So it's about just being open to that. But when you say things like I don't hear, then you're already preventing yourself from that, because you're setting yourself up to not hear something. It's about changing the thought processes that you have. Donna, should I ask to come through at night, or when is the best time is what's right for you. So it's when you can find that time within your daily schedule, or on an evening, or even first thing in the morning. So it's just really what you find is the right time for you. When you feel you've got a moment's peace and quiet, when you're not feeling too tired, is always a good time to do something. So just finding that. So there's always the right time is the right time for you. I tend to find that if I sit and meditate on an evening, I can fall asleep just as easily as if I sit and meditate in the morning. So it really just depends on what you feel is right for you. So if anybody else has got any more questions while we're still waiting for Larkin to join us. So Chrissy, when I ask for validation of spirit that I've received it, sometimes I don't. Is it because my mind just made stuff up instead of it being something else? Okay, that's a lovely question. And yeah, a very interesting. I would say that when you get your validation, then yes, you've made that very strong connection. But just because you haven't received validation as well, and this maybe sounds like I'm backtracking, it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't, because sometimes you don't always get a validation straight away. So like, for example, I've recently been doing a course on creating my own oracle deck, and one of the things that came to me was the image of a rose, and thinking about making a self-care, self-love course based on working with the energy of roses and making your own rose essence, things like that. And I did that course a few days ago, and then I was driving along the motorway and passed a big van that had roses all down the side of it. I walked into my mum's kitchen, and there on her windowsill was a bunch of roses. I was tidying out a cupboard and found more roses. So validation from questions that you're asking can come in many different ways as well, and they may not come straight away. So I would say just be open to receiving. And if you're feeling that it's something you've made up, then go back and ask that question again, make that connection again, and just see if something comes round the second time. Yes, Robin, that can happen quite often as well. And it's usually, you'll find when that happens, you're perhaps not focused on getting the answer to your question. You're not focused on making that connection, but it may be that you're doing something whereby you could be daydreaming during the daytime, or you're just focused on doing something else. I quite often, when I'm reading, will get a little moment of inspired thought come through, and that's without meditating, but it's because you're not actually focused and thinking about what it is that you want in that moment, and you're allowing your mind to, if you like, be distracted by something else, and that's when those moments of inspiration can drop in as well. So Anne, what to say to my love when I'm talking? You say whatever you wish, Anne. However, you know, if you're just sat having a conversation with, you know, your loved one or your best friend, it's just have a natural form of conversation. There's nothing specific. You know, you can just tell them about your day. You can sort of just ask questions about things that you want sort of answers to, things like that. So Mel. Hi Mel. Lovely. What practices are you using to do that, Mel? You're welcome, Donna. So anything you want to ask, any more questions you have, that's great. Don't mind trying to do my best to answer them. It's just a shame Larkin's not popped in, because obviously Larkin and I have different experiences, so we can quite often give a combined amount of information from two different perspectives, which is always good to share. Hopefully the weather's not too bad over there, Maria. Well, I've been very blessed here where I live. It's not been so bad, but other parts of the country I've struggled. Ah, here's she.
Hi. I didn't know I could add myself to stage. Awesome. Well, sorry, guys. It's been another crazy morning for me here. I feel like every time I have a live and a broadcast with all my rescues and everything else, it just gets wild here. Wild. But that's okay.
Welcome, Larkin.
Thank you. What are you guys talking about? I'm looking
so we've been just talking about spirit guides, connecting to spirit, meditation. Robin had a wonderful experience with you at the weekend with connecting with hers.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
And then there's been some lovely questions, so I've done my best to answer them from my perspective. So I thought maybe we'll pop them up as we go along and see what your thoughts are on it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I told Robin if she had more questions. And Robin, I will get back to your message as well. I needed to take some of the weekend off. For those of you who don't know, I do a lot of animal rescue outside of my own, with the animals in my home. Horses, dogs, cats, you name it. And there's always something spontaneous going on. Emergencies, things like that. So there's always a lot going on. I have very little time to myself at all. So sometimes you'll just notice I might just disappear for a day, especially on a weekend. Especially if I've had an event and things like that, I might just disappear because I need that time. So anyway, yeah, I know I mentioned to Robin, though, she could ask some questions here. So
okay. So I've popped up one of the first questions that I've had.
Oh, what a great question, Donna. Yeah. No, absolutely not. I think a lot of it is how you guys categorize. So if we're talking in general and we say, and Susie probably answered a lot of the same here.
I didn't, because I actually think that they are the same.
Right. You would have sauld yes, but as you hear what I say, it'll come full circle, which means our answer is going to be identical. It's just the way that I'm saying it. So, yes and no is the answer. The reason I say no is because at least over here in the US, we have, a lot of times spirits are referred to as like ghosts or, energies trapped here or energies that haunt.
Okay.
And so I want to say no because I want to speak to the identification. And this is where words become a problem. You have to understand that spirit does not use words. It doesn't mean you can't speak to spirit in words. It doesn't mean when you're in spirit, you're not going to be speaking. It means that the words and the languages that we have is to identify with our cognitive mind, which is connected to our ego. Mind is synonymous with ego. Our brain, our cognition needs the language, right? If you guys visit my Larkin and animal communicator interpreter page, you'll notice if I do lives or I'm talking about things on there, I'm always talking about how the animals have a language. The animals all understand each other's language, right? This is an answer to your question, so I'm not getting sidetracked. The animals do have a language, all of them. So they all understand one another. So if you have a bear and a bobcat and an eagle and a squirrel all in the same vicinity, they can all look at one another, sense one another, and speak one another's languages. They understand what everyone's intentions are. And they're speaking on a conscious level and on a very down-to-earth, animal, grounded brain level. Okay. We humans are the only ones that have trouble with that misunderstanding because we overthink. So the reason I started out, I was going to also say yes. The reason I started out by saying no is because, I will refer to spirit, but usually not spirits because of people's identification with it. Okay. So, if it depends on the context of a situation, like if you were speaking Japanese or you were speaking French, for example, what is the content of the situation? So if I were to say, walk into a house and say, wow, there's so many wonderful spirits here. Or like I used to in Scotland, walk into, one of the forests over there and say, oh my gosh, the spirits here are amazing. I would be talking about everything from angels to entities that had maybe lived there and their presence was still there, to fairies and elves, spirits, meaning energies that were not in physical form that I observed. Okay. So in that case, I would say, yeah, those are spirits. But for a lot of people, if I say that and then I say spirit guides, they're thinking of spirit guides as being more of like an ethereal thing and spirits being either something from another dimension or ghosts. Okay. So it really depends on what you want to identify as the term. Now, when we get to the guides part of it, the answer is definitely I would say a no, because we want to really distinguish between spirit guides and anything and everything else. And again, this is just for our mind. Okay, this is just for our mind. We want to do that because if you want to get to know and interact with your spirit team better on your own, your human brain, your human consciousness, your ego wants to be able to clarify and identify, really only for the sake of communication. Okay, because you want to understand. A spirit guide is, and again, Susie and I may disagree on this some, but it's because of the way that I'm defining it. Okay, like Robin asked a really great question. Hi, Christopher James, welcome. Robin asked me a really great question, and I'll get into this more later in your answer as well, Robin. But can spirit guides be those who lived before you? Relatives that maybe you didn't meet that passed away before you were born? Yes, absolutely. They certainly can. What we have to be careful about is that we don't convince ourselves that the things we want or think are more meaningful are the truth. We have to be very careful of that, because what I see happening a lot, and it's why you hear the intensity and the passion in my voice, it's why you hear me talking with such an authoritative tone, because I really want to make a point. The problem with us being trying to be spiritual in human form is we make shit up. We make it up. We make up what we want. Oh, my dog died, and so he's going to come back to me every time for the rest of my life. I'm going to have the same, and it comforts us when our dog passes away. Is that true? Small percentage of the time it is true. In the bigger picture, it really doesn't matter because they've never gone anywhere anyway. You haven't even gone anywhere in coming here. There's just a part of you incarnated here right now. Just a teeny tiny part of your energy is here. You can't possibly bring your whole being here. You're too big. You're too grand. Your energy can't be contained in your little body. Just a part of you is. The rest of you is that higher self, that consciousness we talk about. So, can you have, are spirits the same as spirit guides? Yes and no. If you understand what we're talking about, we can just say in general spirits. If we're saying, yeah, and then if you want to connect with I say spirit, not spirits, because I think it has a different connotation. With the spirits, then yes, it means the same thing. But if you're talking about, let's say wanting to know the guides that are around you, those are different than the other spirits. I would say your spirit guides are different. They work with you and only you. You two chose to work together as a team. You've known them for eternity. Some of them incarnated with you in other lives, but some of them didn't. Spirit guides can be such a variety of beings who've had a variety of past experiences. But the important thing and all that matters is that they're connected to you. Okay. So that is a really great question. And you guys know how thorough I am. I could go on and on about it, but that is a good question. And it's things I often don't remember. People have these, really basic questions that are so important for your understanding moving forward. Hi, Chrissy. She says, maybe you have already touched on this. Sometimes when I ask for validation from spirit guides, I have received it, and sometimes I don't because my mind just makes stuff up instead of being something I thought was from spirit guides. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's really everybody's issue, Chrissy. And honestly, I would recommend you come to the Meet Your Spirit Guides event on the 24th of I have to be careful here. It's the 24th of February and it's very limited spaces. So you can find that on my Facebook page. You can just hit the link. It's pinned, or at larkinsreadings.com. But I would recommend it because it's a different experience. If you guys do the angel parties with Susie and I, like we're going to do one on February 25th, spirit guides where you come in and do readings. And I'm not trying to sell you guys stuff. I'm trying to tell you what's available. Okay. Because to be honest, the free online stuff is great and everybody wants free, but there is an energy exchange when you pay for something, even if it's very low cost, and you put it in your calendar and you invest the energy and the time and the focus and the money. There is a different energy exchange that you get out of it. And I've taught manifesting coaching for over 15 years. I mean, this is just the truth. So if you want something more intimate with more details, I would sign up for that. But so this is a thing too that comes with practice, Chrissy. It gets easier and becomes more familiar as you practice it. So you have to learn to distinguish. We all do. You have to learn to distinguish between what is your thoughts and what you're making up, and what is actually your spirit guides. Okay. And that's one of the things that we go into and Meet Your Spirit Guides. It's also one of the things that in my Awakening Your Intuition program, that's 12 weeks long, that's exactly what this is for, is learning to communicate and connect with spirit. Okay. So I would suggest, if you're serious about that, that you find more ways to participate and learn in that to help you stay focused. Until then, I would recommend, Susie recommends this too, journaling. Journal, because you start to differ. You can see your mind on paper and you can see spirit on paper. So you start to differentiate. Okay. I think one of the things I would say, Chrissy, as well, is that, let's see, and I will get to yours, Robin, but I really want to finish Chrissy's. I want to find that question again. I'm still working on Chrissy's. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to keep them matched up with what I'm answering. Let's see, instead of being something you thought was okay. So here's a couple things you can do. But again, this is going to take practice. Okay. If it's something that just comes in, it's like, boom, all of a sudden it's there. Right. First of all, the spirit guides and angels always answer. So whenever you guys feel like you're not getting an answer, please understand that it's you, it's not them. Okay. And that doesn't mean blame yourself. It just means understand that spirit guides and angels always come through. Your loved ones always come through. If you're not getting it, just like sometimes as readers, we don't always get everything. Sometimes spirit has to lead me the long way around. My parents' 150-pound black German Shepherd passed away 2 nights ago. He came to me and told me this an hour and a half before he passed. I didn't identify it with him. I was like really confused. This beautiful soul, because he came to me as his soul, not connected to his body. I didn't make the connection. I did never in a million years expected him to pass away this week. He wasn't even sick that I knew of. Okay. So even us who do this every day, all day. So you just want to, if you're looking for validation, keep asking and trusting. Okay. So if you think you don't get it, ask for another validation. This will really help you, Chrissy. Okay. So you can, if it's the first thing and it just pops in your mind out of nowhere, chances are it's your guides, and you'll start to identify between your angels and your guides and your loved ones as well. Okay. So it depends on the validation you're asking for and how you're asking for it. If you're asking, say, okay, guys, make it real obvious. Hit me in the head. Okay. That's what I have to do sometimes. Hit me in the head with it. Make it real obvious. And they'll know that you need that, and they'll keep trying. Or say something like, okay, can you send me, ask for something specific and see if that works for you. And then take your attention off of it. Okay. But they will answer. And it is up to you you guys are building a rapport, you and your spirit guides, because they can connect with you, but you need to be able to identify with them. So they will help teach you that if you keep asking. But a lot of this is trust, Chrissy, and not questioning yourself so much. And a lot of it is just being aware of your own egoic thoughts all the time, so that you know the difference. Now, here's one more hint I'm going to give you before moving on to Robin's. If it is clear and it is simple, it is spirit. And spirit will repeat. Spirit will gently and lovingly repeat. If it is your mind or your ego making things up, it will get confusing and cloudy, and you might get frustrated, and it'll go in circles, and you're like, and it'll be contradictory and it'll be confusing. So if it is loving and simple and clear, it's spirit. If it's cloudy and confusing or negative, it's you. Okay. Hope that helps. All right, Susie, thank you. Let's see here. I have found 2. Robin says that if a spirit or something important is telling me, they tell me without being in. Yeah. Oh, I love this one. Susie knows this. Did you answer this one already, Susie?
I did, yeah.
Because I want to make sure I'm not talking over you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I get this a lot, guys. Just a few weeks ago, we had someone on here who her husband was trying to connect with his relatives through meditation. Do not do this. Do not do this. I'm going to tell you clearly, yes, Susie and I have some things that we charge for because this is how we make a living. To be quite honest, if I charge you $40 for Meet Your Spirit Guides event, I maybe get 10 of those dollars, 10 of them for the whole 2 or 3 hours, because I have taxes, I have business to invest in, I have other things I'm paying for, such as StreamYard, right? StreamYard itself is $50 a month. So we don't charge that much. But my point in saying this is that people are making millions and hundreds of millions of dollars off of trying to sell you different forms of meditation, okay? Versus trying to help you trust in yourself like we are and really connect with spirit on your own. That's the most important thing you can do. So meditation is for something entirely different. Meditation is for you and you alone to remember who you are. Meditation, there's, I feel like the industry has brutalized meditation because there's a zillion different types of meditation. Guess what? There's not. There's one type of meditation. There's some different forms you can get there. You can do Zen meditation. You can fold laundry. You can make bread. You can pick berries. These are all forms of meditation that nature has given us, because when you do something repetitive, it slows down your mind. And what happens when you slow down your mind? You can connect with who you really are. So just for a brief summary, for those of you who don't know, you have your conscious eternal soul and your spirit, which is like source energy. That's where your spirit guides are coming from, and your loved ones now who've passed on, and your animals who've passed on. Then you have your mind, which is your ego. It's your thinking. It's the part of you listening to me right now that's like, I don't know if I believe her. Yeah, her hair looks kind of funny today. Oh, I wonder how much longer this is going to be on. Oh my God, I got so many questions I want to ask before they get off. Okay, that's your mind. And then in the middle, I'm sorry, your mind's in the middle. And then on the other side is your brain. And your brain is the cognitive part, right? So what we're doing when we're meditating is we're taking our brain and we're doing something physical, such as a mantra or looking at a flame or walking, something that is repetitive and brings you into being presence, stills and calms and slows down your brain. When that happens, it affects your mind. Then your mind can stop the brrrr, which is an addiction. And when your mind is doing this, you can't hear your own soul and you can't hear your spirits, your spirit guides, and your angels, right? You can't communicate with animals. So, the purpose of meditation is to bring you into what is called single pointed focusness, which is what my father told me, who is an amazing spiritual teacher, although he denies it. He's been a TM meditator, transcendental meditator for over 50 years. So, it's very cool because if you do meditation, it will help you when you connect with spirit guides out of meditation, when you want to communicate with animals out of meditation, when you want to lower your blood pressure and improve your health out of meditation. Okay. But you should not meditate really any more than 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day is enough. These people that do these hours and you don't need that, because when you're meditating truly, you're outside of space and time. You're where your soul is. And if you do it correctly, and that takes practice, that basically means you're consciously awake, but you're not thinking. And my friends, if you spend the rest of your life attempting to have that experience, do it. Because the first time I tried for years before I was able to really, really meditate. I did it for 15 minutes a day, started out with 2 minutes a day, moved it up to 5. That's what I have my clients do. Don't push yourself. I guarantee you 99% of you are not really meditating. And I can tell you that because I know how hard it is to get the mind under control. So just start with 2 minutes, 5 at the most. Pick a mantra or stare at a candle. But what happens is you'll be able to experience yourself free of thought while you are conscious. There is no greater gift, guys. But yes, do not set an intention when you meditate. Do not attempt to connect to spirit while you're meditating. Meditating on something is different. If you're going to say, I'm going to sit down and meditate on connecting to my spirit guides, fine, sit down and talk to them. But that is not meditating. So thank you for that question. I'm sorry I sound so black and white, guys, but I've done this my whole life. Spirit teaches me this stuff every day, and I want to be very clear because it is so easy to misunderstand this. Robin says, I found too that if spirit has something important to tell me, tell me something. Okay, the same one. Perfect. Yes. Yes. Christy, you can get on the next event, my dear. Don't worry. Just register for the next one because I only take about 12 to 15 people at the most. The last one sold out and I had a couple people not show up. So they'll be signing up they'll be on the next one. Donna Ray, is it best to ask open-ended questions or yes or no questions to spirit? Great question. Wow. And these are the things, guys, in my Awakening Intuition program, Mastermind, we will go over every single week and you'll get to practice these if you want to invest in that. Okay. So Susie, did you get to answer this one?
No, not this one.
I've been blabbing on, so I'm going to let you talk.
No, it's fine.
Well, okay, I'll just be quick then. It really depends on you. So that's a really good question, Donna Ray. It really depends on you. And I think it depends on the situation. Either one works. I feel that when you are learning and maybe you need to build confidence in this, that it can be very helpful to ask yes and no questions because it can train you to hear their immediate answer and to feel it. Okay. And before somebody was asking me about validation, I don't remember which person that was. But if you ask, let's say you ask an open-ended question. Let's say you ask me, you ask them, let's see, can you guys help me with such and such and such and such? And you feel like you don't get an answer and you get all confused at their feedback. So then you go in and you take it down to there's my incense. You take it down to a yes or no question because maybe you're confused. So instead you say, hey guys, my spirit guides, yes or no? Are you helping me in this issue? Are you helping me with this issue? Boom. Before you even answer the question, their answer's coming into you. Okay. And for each of you guys, your angels and your spirit guides are going to come in so differently for each one of you. Some of you will feel it while you're hearing it. Some of you will think it. Some of you will feel it. Some of you will have something drop in front of you physically to get your attention. It's like with human beings, you are building this rapport. They know you better than anybody, but you have to get to know them. So allow them to show you. And the reason I say this is because when we have an ego, we want to control. Stop trying to, you may not think you are, but your ego is. Stop trying to control and put limitations on how spirit communicates with you. And by spirit, I mean everything. The term spirits. Don't try to control it. Let them show you. Be open to it and trust. So if you ask a question and you're not sure, or you may want to start with yes and no questions. And then when you feel comfortable with the fact that immediately you get an answer, then you can expand it a little bit. So my suggestion to you, Donna, is play with it. Your spirit guides right now are saying, definitely practice the yes and no for you. Definitely practice the yes and no because it's going to simplify it and it takes away the room for your mind to go overthink. Because here's where people get messed up, guys. Your answers come in immediately, like I'm using my incense. But what happens is most people miss the answer because it comes in so quick and so clear. And their thoughts take over before they even recognize the answers come in. That's why you guys notice that you're hearing your own thoughts instead and you get confused. It's once you start thinking, that's no longer their answer. It's what comes in between your thoughts, which is why Eckhart Tolle says, start creating some space between your thoughts. Susie, what is your answer to this? Will I light my incense?
I think this one is a bit more about becoming aware of your own intuition, isn't it? It's about really trusting what your intuition is telling you and what you're feeling. And that involves, like you say, some practice and keeping that practice. And I think this is a bit more in depth and perhaps something maybe we should use as a topic for next week and perhaps bring in some exercises that we can share, because that will take a little bit longer than the time that we've actually got this evening. But yeah, it's a fantastic question. And one of the other things as well, of course, is if you're really wanting to work with yes and no questions, you could try working with a pendulum and practice pendulum work. So maybe we could add that in next week as well and do that as a thought. Because as you were talking, I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. But the question I'm hearing myself asking is, and I'm sure it's being asked out there by all our wonderful viewers, is, well, how do I know? How can I feel? How do I feel it? And for me, it's getting to know that intuitive, which comes so simply. It's like, do I turn left or right at the end of this road? Because I don't know where I'm going. And you follow your intuition, don't you? But that becomes sort of a knowing of the feeling that you're feeling in your body. So I think it's about getting to share some practices, some exercises that we can perhaps give them so that they can learn to get the feeling, the sensation, and the knowing.
Yeah, and I'm saying the same thing Susie is, even though it seems like I'm saying something different, guys. It's the same thing though. If my answer is really the same as Susie's, she's talking about using tools, but I want to give you guys a heads up about tools. The tools are a reflection of your intuition. So what I was describing was using your intuition. I just didn't use that word. When we use tools, if I pull a card for you guys and I'm not being intuitive, I can just pull any card. If I use, I have played with the pendulums and stuff before when I knew I was off intentionally. And the thing you guys have to understand is any tool that you use is for the intellect. It's supposed to be to connect you to your intuition, and it can, and it does. But if you're not already connecting to your intuition, it doesn't work. So the bottom line is we can give you tools, we can give you pendulum work and exercises and all of that, but understand that the exercises are for your mind. So let's start from, and this is what Susie and I will work with you guys on, especially in the, if you, like I said, if you guys want to do the Awakening Your Intuition program, that's what we will be working on. This isn't something you just do once or twice. This is something you have to make a way of life. So this is why I often don't mention tools. There are exercises and practices, but I personally don't usually mention tools right away, because I feel like whenever I deal with people and their tools, it goes back to the intuition. You have to, like I love tools, but I like to be able to be anywhere without anything. No cards, no crystals, no, I want it to be all contained within me first. And then anything else I use is great. But I want to trust myself. If I was out in the middle of the woods and I needed help from my guides and I was lost, because I'm an outdoor person, I've done outdoor survival stuff. So this is a real thing for me. Or I'm stuck out in the middle of the pasture with my horses and there's nobody there and I don't have my phone. I'm not pulling out crystals and pendulums. I'm not mocking what you said, Susie. I just want to
I hear you.
I want to make a big point here. I feel like this is half of what I've spent my career trying to undo. People are like, oh, I'm going to pull this stuff out. You know what? It doesn't mean squat if it's not coming from within you. Your connection to your spirit guides is within you.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you entirely on all of that. But I feel for some people, we need to, it's a bit like giving the baby walker to learn to walk and then take it away.
Absolutely.
So, my path, my journey through all of this was to use those tools to the point now that I no longer need them. Yep. I don't use them because I do know, I trust my intuition. I trust that feeling and that notion. But some of them helped me to get to the point of recognizing that feeling.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. I just want to make that very clear to people, so that you know that you can start with the answer that I just gave you, Donna, because it's raw and it's simple. And the point is that you want to be, yes, the tools can help you. Yes, we will show you those and techniques. We'll do that here. We'll do that in the program. We'll do it wherever you need it. But also understand that you can practice right now just with the listening, with it being quick, with it being immediate, with that feeling of your intuition, because that's really what it actually is. And I think that's such a great question, because if you start with something real simple like yes and no, then you can expound on it. Whether it's with, as you get better with that, then whatever tools you use, it will also get stronger. And each of you is going to come up with your own practice. So each of you will come up with your favorite thing. Do you want tools or not? Which tools do you want? What practices help strengthen it for you and which ones don't? So I think, the more you guys test these things out for yourself and find out what works for you and your guides, the better that's going to be.
So I think that's,
sorry, I was reading
that's okay.
Okay. So, let's see.
Chrissy's mentioned that she couldn't find a time of day for your mastermind class, but she's had to pop off to go back to work now. So I don't know if you want.
That's fine. We'll be in touch. She can message me.
Yeah.
Just message me at larkinsreadings.com, Chrissy. Because what'll happen is when we're doing that, when we do the Awakening Your Intuition program, we will be going so much more in depth with you guys because it's going to be a private group where you're practicing. So it just depends on what you guys are looking for. It's just something, that is being offered if you want to learn to do this more deeply. I want to, hey, Melissa, I want to make sure I get to Christopher James if he's still on here.
Yeah.
Hi, Larkin. My dad has visited in my dreams since he passed. Oh, okay. So for those of you who don't know, on the radio show, I did, Melissa was a beautiful call-in question reader for the radio show on A1R, which I have since discontinued my partnership with, but I will be picking it up on my Psychic Medium page on Thursdays starting in February. She says, hi, Dad. My dad has visited me in my dreams since he passed in August. He has my Nana. She passed in November, but I can't hear what they are saying in the dream. Is there a way I can get their messages without hearing their words? Yeah. So, first of all, her dad was amazing, guys. He was amazing when he came through as a communicator. So there's a couple things. What's happening when you're in and Susie might have a cool response for this as well. So here's the thing. One of the reasons you don't hear them in your dream, this is not true for everyone, but one of the reasons you're not hearing them in your dream is because for different people, so you're interacting with them on an astral plane, you did actually hear them. Your soul and your subconscious did hear them. Your conscious mind did not. And that is because they were able to get through to you better without the conscious mind. So they cut the conscious mind off more. Now, sometimes that in your dreams, you'll bring that back with you, and sometimes you won't. Here's what I want you to do, and here's what I'm getting as well, is first of all, they are just telling you that they are fine and that they are happy. And it looks like you have some do you have some new and exciting changes that you're making? Because what they were telling you in your dream, and then I'm going to tell you how this is going to come out for you. What they were telling you in your dream is just keep going and enjoying and living your life and doing what you're doing and taking care of everyone. You're doing a beautiful job, and not to miss them. They are happy. They are together. They're doing what they love, and they love you so much. And they actually visit you every night in your dreams. So you're not remembering every night. Okay. But they're always there with you. You guys are like frolicking and hanging out. Okay. The other thing is that oftentimes, and this is what's happening with you in these experiences, is that you are bringing back with you what they're telling you and what they're interacting with you about, but you're not bringing it back in the form of cognitively remembering what was said. What you're doing instead is you're bringing back the experience in your being. That is impacting you. It is affecting you. It is warming your heart. It is good for your health and your well-being because you wake up having experienced them. There is nothing they need you to remember they were saying. They want you to get the essence of they love you, they're proud of you, they're still here with you. They want you to have the essence of the fact that you're all still together, which is what you're bringing back from the dream. Okay, so unless spirit has a warning or a heads up or is really trying to answer a question for you, they want you to know that they're there and they're okay and that they love you. And that's the feeling they're sending back with you. So number one, it's because it's nothing relevant that you need to remember word wise. That's why you're waking up thinking you can't hear them. But when you're asleep and you're actually dreaming with them, you actually do know what they're saying and you actually are interacting. So please let me know if that answers your question and makes sense. Okay. I hope that helps you. Christopher says, yes, I'm still here and we'll be here till the end of this. Okay. Awesome. So I was just seeing, Christopher, that let's see, that you had surgery on Wednesday. Let's see. And that, I'm reading through all these. It was last Wednesday. Okay. Good afternoon, Larkin and Susie. I'm so sorry I missed Saturday. That's fine, Christopher James. You can come to the next one. It's the 24th. Okay, so I'll put you on the list for the 24th of February. Let's see. I had surgery last Wednesday. An ablation of my liver to destroy my cancer, and I didn't mean to miss the online meeting, but you can be there on the 24th for Meet Your Spirit Guides. Hopefully I'll be able to reschedule. Yes. So yeah, so let's do a spirit guide message for you, and then I will just put you on the roster for the Meet Your Spirit Guides on the 24th. So guys, that means I only have about 10 spaces left. So if you want to register for that, make sure you do it ASAP. So Susie, did you want to start with his spirit guide reading, or would you like me to?
No, you can.
Okay. I've been talking a lot, so I want to make sure I'm sorry guys, I'm like pumped up today. I don't know if it's the cryo brew cocoa stuff. I don't know what it is. So yeah. So I see, gosh, so many different vibrations around you. And interesting, I say vibration. So it may have something to do with the music that you're into. And part of that is interesting because you actually have, so most people have like their inner vibration, their frequency, which can change throughout the day. Then you have like your auric field vibrational frequency going on and what you're radiating, which can switch like that. You have the energies around you, you have your environment. I see such a crossover of different vibrational frequencies for you. And your spirit guides actually have a great sense of humor. I love that. Guys, spirit guides have such personalities. Like my sisters are real hard to interact with sometimes. They're very different. They're really unusual. I've met people who have spirit guides from other universes. It's fascinating. Yours, you have, I see, especially since you're going through all of this, I see really 6 energies surrounding you. 2 working very, very specifically with you, kind of like one on each side of each ear, that just walk with you, one on each side every day. They're very protective of you, Christopher. And I would go to say that when we do the Meet Your Spirit Guides event, if you join us next month, those 2 are probably the ones that are going to come forward to introduce themselves. You have a trying to identify what this is that I'm seeing, but there's such a mix of frequency. And I think what I'm seeing is in your healing process, there's going to be a unification and a synchronization of these mixes of energies. That one of the things that's going to help you to heal and move forward and really dispel your cancer is this synchronization of these energies. And this is what they're trying to help you do. Now, one of the ways they're trying to help you do this, and hopefully you can relate to this, is they're trying to help you do it in the focus and clarity of the decisions that you're making. They're trying to help you do it in how you're processing and focusing your thoughts and emotions, because they're saying part of what you process is so ultra fast. Like, your vision and your expansion for things, it's sort of ahead of you physically. And so all of that is trying to get in sync. And by the same token, you're wanting to remember and really stay in touch with who you are and really remember who you are. That brings in a whole nother set of frequencies. So they're trying to help you synchronize all these things. These things are not a problem, and they're not a cause of cancer or anything like that. It's just, this is the synchronization that needs to happen and will be a part of your healing. Actually, I'm seeing that this process of going through cancer is actually going to help this to happen, because it's the process of the things you're doing that's unifying that. Okay. The other thing is, I'm trying to pinpoint exactly what they're saying here, what this is. Hold on a minute. I'm asking them to kind of bring this back. The way that you speak, love you, Susie. Bye. The way that you guys, the way that you speak of your life and of the cancer is something that they want you to shift. So, for example, remove the word my cancer. Everything is always working out for you. They want to remind you. Obstacles are opportunities. Okay. And you had a part, your soul, in choosing that, choosing what those obstacles are. Because on the other side of the cancer, not your cancer, that cancer is a whole different, new, and better version of you. Okay. Is a more melded version of your soul and your human form. So do not take ownership of the cancer. It's just like, for me, I had to stop saying my migraines, because I get migraines. I had to say, oh, I experienced a migraine. I had a migraine. That separates it from my identification. This is important for mindset work. And believe it or not, guys, spirit guides know this. Spirit guides know. And they are aware and educated in the human form and in our limitations and in our strength and in what we need. So they will automatically encourage us to do very practical things. This is why we want to practice things practically, right? So just make sure, you leave any ownership type words out for things you don't want. And they want you to focus on replacing that with ownership words for things that you do want. So my health and well-being is flourishing and matches the essence of the best version of me. My health and well-being is flourishing and matches the best version of me. Okay. And really see that. They also want you to do some visualizations, which I don't know if you're doing or not. I see you doing them. I'm not sure if this is future or if this is what you've been doing. Sometimes I don't pick that up with spirit because they're outside of space and time, but they're showing me you doing this. Visualize and visualize. It will be the angels that help you do this, but visualize a white cleansing light just coming through you and washing all that out. That in and of itself will help synchronize these vibrations. Okay. So I hope, please let me know if that's helpful. I'm going to scroll down here, guys. I want to make sure I'm getting back to you and I get your replies. Hi, Maria. Welcome back. Let's see here. I want to make sure. I'm going to scroll down. Wow, I'm way up here. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Let's see. Talking to her. So, guys, I am bouncing around, but I'm scrolling down. So if you guys have replies to what I just said or questions, I will get to that. Okay. I will stay on a little bit longer here. But just please know, guys, while I'm scrolling down, I'm going to throw this out there. I have a Larkin Animal Communicator page. Animals are my greatest passion in all the world. It's one of the reasons I'm here in this world right now. I'm going to be doing live animal readings on there every week. The Awakening Your Intuition program, guys, is you can see it posted on my Facebook page and on here. It's a 3-month program, but it is to help you learn to connect with spirit better. And some people will repeat the program. Some people just do it once, but it is to get in depth with a small group of people with these types of questions and enhancing your own abilities. Plus, there's materials and booklets and guides and all sorts of things you're going to get to help you do this. I'm very skeptical of anyone and everyone that teaches this stuff or does any of this. I know that sounds very hypocritical, but I am, because I believe that this work has to be done purely. That's why I work with Susie. I know for a fact how pure she is in her work. And the two of us really try to make this just pure from spirit. We try to eliminate our ego and stuff as much as we can. make this a way of life and encourage you guys to get to really know your spirit team and trust yourself, because each of your path and connection with your team is so different and unique. And we love doing that connection for you and helping you and guiding you and enhancing you with it. But we want you to be able to do it for yourself. We do not want you to be dependent on us. Okay. So this is why we offer you all these things. Thursday nights, I'm going to be doing readings. I'm going to be on here a lot more doing live readings. Susie pulls a card every day. There's just lots of things that we want to offer you guys that are super, super unique. We just wanted to keep it raw. Let's see. Scrolling down. Thank you very much, Larkin. Okay, Christopher, I hope that helped. That's great. I think that's a great message from your spirit guides. And they knew you weren't going to make it on Saturday and that you'll be the next one. They were telling me before I even got your message. So that's fine. Thank you. Let's see here. Take care, Christopher James. And if you're still on, let me know and we can connect with your mom. Maria, general reading. Do you have something specific you're wanting to know, Maria? I see. Do you have something coming up in the spring? I'm seeing flowers. I'm seeing spring. I'm seeing like April. You're there, Anne. Awesome. Okay. So we'll get back to you in a minute here. Maria, let me know if you're still here. So what is I'm seeing like spring flowers. I'm seeing springtime. So you have something coming up in the spring. It looks like April. Daughter's birthday. Okay. Hi, Mel. Welcome. Welcome. Glad you're here, Mel. Okay. Birth of a grandbaby. Okay. Okay, well, I'm definitely seeing it looks like April. And so I'm seeing sun and light rain and flowers and green grass, and I'm just seeing a beautiful, wonderful, and joyful time coming up for you in May. So it looks like you're going to have a couple of wonderful celebrations there. So if it's your daughter's birthday, it looks like, yeah. So around that time, that April time of the year, it looks like that's going to be this special time for you, Maria. And I see circles of angels around you guys. Oh, thank you, Christopher James. I see circles of angels around you guys, Maria, like rings of them, protecting you guys individually, sending you love and good energy. The birth of a grandbaby, definitely so many angels around that energy, that soul. And that's really what happens. They really escort our souls into the world. And part of that is to help the souls remember who they are, bring the love and the gifts that I was talking about last week when I was telling you guys that we are in a garden before we're born. And our loved ones and angels and spirit guides can bring us gifts that we literally bring with us. And so before the baby is born, when the mother is pregnant, those angels and souls will follow her around and they surround that energy, not just to protect them physically, but to protect that energy and the cosmic memory that soul who's going to be born has programmed in for them. Okay. It's helped to protect that energy, and it protects that golden thread that we're all born with. Okay. Congratulations, Mel. That's wonderful. So you've got these rings of angels around you as well, guys. They love circles. Angels love circles. This is great. So, Anne, let's see. Your mom's birthday's today. Okay. So yeah, and I just get this warm, joyful feeling. Wow. Your mom is with you and she doesn't want you to mourn and be sad. She wants you to celebrate She is so joyful. Actually, what I'm seeing is this is very interesting. She's celebrating in heaven. She is celebrating the lessons and experiences, the opportunity to bring you into the world. She is on the other side with her loved ones, actually, and they do this, guys. They will do this. They will, if they still have loved ones here that are honoring and celebrating their lives, spirit will. So here I use the word spirit, right? Spirits. This is where I'm using the term spirits. Spirits will celebrate with you from the other side. They will celebrate the fact that they had this magnificent experience. You guys have no idea what an honor it is to incarnate into this world. This is one of the most difficult worlds to incarnate into. It's got one of the heaviest vibrations. It's one of the hardest to remember who you are. The higher dimensions where you can incarnate and poof, if you're killed, you just poof, oh yeah, there I am, right? It's not like that here. We go through a lot, and there is a long line of souls waiting to get here. Okay. So here we have a spammer. So we're going to block user and delete comment. And unbelievable. Okay. So they do celebrate this, and they do it partly on behalf of you, but when they still have loved ones here celebrating their life, they will do that. Now, one of the things she's doing too is she and some of your other friends and relatives and spirits and souls they're going on like a picnic. They do this, guys. Our world is like a replication of heaven. Okay. And they're actually going to, I know this is going to sound really strange. I'm going to try to explain this. But they're going to what we would see as a cemetery in heaven, but it's not really a cemetery. But there are these beautiful gardens that spirits will go to in heaven, and it looks sort of like a cemetery. But what they are is they're like little stones that represent the souls that are incarnated right now on earth. And they go to celebrate the souls that aren't with them right now, but they're on earth. Okay? So understand they have to sort of pause and step into a realm of time to do this, which they can do in heaven, because they're outside of space and time. So in their reality, you're only gone this long. So if they want to have these experiences, what they get to do is they get to pick and choose and sort of pick a time frame. They're picking the time frame that, let's say, for example, Anne, you're here. And they'll go like to this. I know this may sound morbid to some of you, but it's not. It's brilliant. They go and they celebrate and they bring flowers and shower you with love, kind of at your little, I don't want to call it a grave site, but like your little sacred spot, right? And it represents where your golden thread has come down and holds you in connection to this world, right? And they celebrate the life that you're having. And that's what she's doing to celebrate her birthday. Okay. She's celebrating her ability to bring you into this world. Okay. Maria says, so does that mean things will change? Relationship wise with the estranged daughter-in-law? Because she forced our relationship with my son. So semi break off because of how bitter and nasty she is. Let me check in and see here. So they were showing me the celebration of life and that you have coming. It is fascinating, Mel, isn't it? So yeah, so it unfortunately, so it looks like the nastiness, this is no excuse, but unfortunately the nastiness is really quite a sad story. There's the control issue aspect there. Deeply rooted in there is severe insecurities and a lot of walls. And this new energy that's coming into their life is going to be a long process of lessons for her in having to heal and work through that. You're welcome, Anne. It was a beautiful message. And I do see that relationship um healing and recovering. I what I'm being shown right now is that your son is going to want you to be a part of the baby's life. So there's going to come a point where he is going to want that enough. At least this is what I'm seeing now, guys. Nothing's set in stone, but this is what they're showing me now. So I'm going to share this because this is what I trust, okay? Trust what they're showing me. Um he's going to want that reconnection. And so it's going to create an opening for you to um yeah, but he's going to come to a point where Maria, where that becomes a real point of contention with them because he's really going to want that. Um and he really wants you to be a part of the baby's life. So there are going to be some sort of shifts that are going to be happening. Um I'm not seeing if that's in April or not. I know that the joy of the baby coming and all of that happening is going to be about that time. That's what they're showing me. I think that, I mean, I'm trying to see how much. So, like, for him, that's going to be a challenging time because once the baby is born, he's going to want you in their life all the more. So, there are going to be some shifts that happen. You are going to see some shifts and get to be a part of the baby's life. It may not be absolutely immediately, but you are going to get to do that. Um, let's see. Yeah, well, keep in mind, one of the things they're telling me is no matter what tactics are used, remember that if a person is made to do something, they're also making the choice. They're choosing one alternative over another. But don't discount his power of choice. He has to realize the power of choice he has. And even if she's giving ultimatums, he still has a power of choice. This baby is going to help him realize he has some powers of choice in this relationship that he is unaware of. So there's a positive growth process that is coming from this whole experience, okay? Okay, so you feel no connection to what? You feel no connection to him, to the baby? What do you feel no connection to? Um, let's see. Let me know what you mean, Maria. Okay. That's fine. So Maria, that's okay that you don't feel a connection. You love your son, but you don't feel a connection. Okay, that's fine. That's healthy right now. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Halori, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome. Oh, whoops. Nope, never mind, not welcome. Haha. Another spammer. So Maria, I'm gonna block Halori, and I will also take a picture of you and report you, Halori. So I'm sorry you're on here, but you basically just screwed yourself. I share everybody that spams me. I share. So everybody's gonna know who you are and what you're doing. I do not take spammers lightly at all. You're not messing with my audience or my page. So it's actually healthy, Maria. You will feel a connection again. I am seeing that you will feel a connection again. You don't feel a connection right now. That's okay. That was a way of mentally and emotionally protecting yourself. And that was actually really important. So that is good right now. They will have their own difficult time together. And that is what will create an opportunity for you to be a part of. But right now, just understand that in the bigger picture, that in the bigger picture of things, that you and your son have a soul connection, that he came into this world to you intentionally, and he came in with his own set of issues and challenges. Okay. And so you, in giving him life here and raising him, have allowed him to do that. And you raised him with the tools he needs. His wife is his challenge right now. And as he works through that, depending on how he works through it, he has the opportunity to be a better version of himself. And so he's going to have some inner turmoil going on. And eventually there's going to be, he's going to have to make some decisions based on what he wants for a life and what he feels is what he really desires and what he knows is the right thing and what she's doing. Okay. Life has been kind of like a whirlwind of things and building a life with her and all of that. So his priorities have been different. But once his baby is born, he's going to have to, he's going to have some different challenges, and that is okay. He's in this world for those challenges. So it is okay. They're showing me that you don't feel a connection. It's actually healthy. You can love him and send him energy from afar. Just know that he's going to be going, be going through some things here. Let's see. Let's see. I didn't approve of the wedding, but I still went for him because I didn't want there to be no one. Okay. Yeah. Well, and that's understandable. That is all very understandable, Maria. So what they're showing me is just understand that forgiveness does not mean does not mean you're condoning things. It frees you from allowing her to have any power over your energy. So just offer forgiveness up to the situation and acceptance, because there's nothing you can do to change it. But as you do that, it also holds space and allowance, which allows whatever they have to work through to happen more easily and quickly. When we're witnessing a situation, if we have resistance to it, it tends to help hold it in its space. When we offer love towards your son and forgiveness to a situation, and you kind of wipe your hands of it, it actually will free it up for your son to work through things more quickly if he's going to. Okay. Wow, this person is absolutely all over. And Hilary, I'm sorry, but you are so reported. You are so reported. And they do actually eventually do things, guys, with spammers. So, anyway, so I hope that helps, Maria. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. And, and all these different things that she's doing, Maria, she's going to continue to do those things for a while. So it is better that you're not interacting. That's actually a blessing for you. Okay, that is a blessing for you right now. So they're saying just stay in your own lane, offer up the love and forgiveness. And as time goes on, you'll be able to see a cycle and a process that happens here. Okay, that's okay. I get that. I see that you don't see them, and that's good. That's for the better. That is for the better right now. Okay, they're definitely showing me that's for the better. But it doesn't mean that energy is not there and it's not going to be in transition. Okay. So yeah, well, and she might, Maria, she might. A lot of that is going to depend on how he chooses to handle things, because just like we've all had our challenges, she is going to have hers as well. Okay? She is setting herself up to have hers. And this is his opportunity to really, he's either going to choose to be much stronger and become aware of this because of her, or he's not, and that's his free will choice. Okay. But he is, once the baby is born, he's going to have a whole new level of having to realize what choices he can make and what he needs to do with that. Okay. So just hang tight, stay in your own lane. All right. Yep. Yep. He should have done that. But you know what? We live and learn. And when you guys love, there's always pain because you're always going to watch your loved ones make choices that cause them pain. And the way we have to handle that is by holding space for them and loving them. And it is amazing how when we apply non-reaction and we allow them to go through what they've chosen to go through, how in the end that comes back to us and it actually gives them the space to do what they need to. Okay, Maria? So just hang tight there. Hang tight there, okay? But I do see you having a wonderful April. It's fantastic. So let's see. Does anybody else have any other questions or things? I'm going to get off of here at 2:00. Do you guys have anything else that you want to ask about or question? I know that Robin mentioned about not needing to get back to the email. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me just look at this before I get off. Let's see. You really don't need to respond to the email. I believe my questions have been answered. Yay. I'm really happy with what I've learned. The way she presented surprised me, but her presentation made me very comfortable. Yes. She was right and knew what worked for me best. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's how they are. That's fantastic. So, guys, it's working with spirit is very much, when you learn to communicate, working with spirit is very much, it's very much like, if you're talking to a person, with each person, some people you're going to communicate better with, and some people you're going to have a harder communication with, right? Some people it's going to be easy, and some people it's not. And spirit, they're individuals as well. Okay. Maria says, thank you. Maybe I'll finally find love again. Yes, that looks like something we can go into next week. Let's see. Anne says, how I talk to my mom is just keep talking to her. Yes. So, like, in response to, what Robin is saying and what you're saying, Anne, is the more you guys practice this, the easier it becomes, right? Just like when I moved to Scotland and lived in Scotland, I could not understand them for the life of me. I was living in Glasgow. And even the other Scots can't understand the people who live in Glasgow. And after I was there a few weeks, I was able to understand them. But I had to learn not just the accent and what they were actually saying, but what they meant, the new terminology, their body language, the fact that they sat right next to me when they ate with you or sat down with you instead of across from you, the fact that their space is a lot closer. They don't sit 3 feet away like Americans do right here. So these were all things that I had to learn. And so for each of you, it's so unique. This is why the Meet Your Spirit Guides event is so important, because when you actually meet your spirit guide in whatever way they come through, you are learning the essence of them, how they will introduce themselves to you, will show you how they're communicating with you right now based on your ability. They can communicate with you visually, auditorily, mentally, emotionally, energetically, however it is, they can connect with you. But you're the one that has to learn. So they have been adapting to your ways. Once you meet them, you can start to practice. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know it's my spirit guide because they always do this. It always feels that way. And a lot of it that I noticed the people talked about who participated this weekend was they talked about how they just know. They couldn't even put into words. It's okay, I know when it's them, or I'll know when it's them now. And this is really important. So as you keep talking to them, it reinvites them in because you have free will. It gives them the opportunity to work with you, right? It gives them the opportunity to communicate with you more in depth, more in detail, to the point where you can have long, lengthy conversations like I do with them. Okay. Where you can even bicker with them like I do with mine. Okay. Let's see. Donna Ray, no questions for now. Connect next week. Great. All right. Well, guys, it looks like we are going to log off then. Don't forget to check out the animal communication page. I have so much I'm going to be doing with that. The Awakening Your Intuition program, which I may change to Speaking with Spirit. It's a 12-week program if you guys want to learn to develop this stuff. You can do it once, you can do it 10 times. It's a support place where you can ask questions you want and get materials and practice and get guidance and tools and techniques, the things like Susie was talking about. I offer you guys a lot of tools and techniques for that. You're welcome, Anne. Thank you. And then the Meet Your Spirit Guides coming up on the 24th. I also want to mention, if you guys want more in-depth readings that are less expensive than a private reading, on the 27th of January, is a small online group reading. It's $25 US. That's all it is. You can find it on my Facebook page or on larkinsreadings.com. And then next month, Susie and I are going to be doing that together on Sunday, the 25th. So I love you guys. Thank you all for coming. Have a beautiful day. And thank you. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.